Hello. Every year, on the anniversary of his death, a group of people, sometimes quite a few people, make a pilgrimage to the little church of Llansanfraid near Brecon in Wales to visit the grave of Henry Vaughan. And after these pilgrims have paid their respects, one of their number reads a poem, which we'll hear at the very end. This poem is by the famous First World War poet, Siegfried Sassoon, who, although he survived the war, went through an incredibly harrowing experience in the trenches and afterwards, being a sufferer from what we would now almost certainly call PTSD, but which was then called shell shock. And he was hospitalised for some time, and while he was hospitalised, he met Wilfred Owen, fellow poet. He was travelling in such a dark place and in such a difficult place that one day he went to a beach and threw his military cross, just completely threw it into the water. It was something he no longer wanted to be encumbered by. And perhaps many of us have those celebrations in life that we seek to cling on to, that make us memorable, where we've won recognition. Perhaps we keep them, as is very understandable, in something like this. A trophy cabinet. Henry Vaughan has little to show for his life, except a record of his ministry and the poems that have survived. He travelled very light. He explored the furthest reaches of the human spirit. He journeyed deeply into God and widely. And yet in his pilgrimage, he travelled very light. He was a true pilgrim, like this one. As Jesus sent out his first disciples, this is some of what he said to them. And by extension, Jesus says it to us now. This is from the wonderful Message translation of the Bible, and it's from the 10th chapter of Luke's Gospel. Travel light. Comb and toothbrush and no extra luggage. Don't loiter and make small talk with everyone you meet along the way. When you enter a home, greet the family. Peace. If your greeting is received, then it's a good place to stay. But if it's not received, take it back. Get out. Don't impose yourself. Stay at one home, taking your meals there. For a worker deserves 3 square meals. Don't move from house to house looking for the best cook in town. When you enter a house and are received, eat what they set before you. Heal anyone who is sick and tell them God's kingdom is right on your doorstep. That wonderful picture of travelling light, dwelling simply, and eating in community what is set before you, like this. Perhaps in Henry Vaughan's explorations, it's a call to us to shed our trophies, to set aside what drags us down, and to follow into a simple life of community, and through that to understand God's kingdom right on our doorstep. Because for Henry Vaughan, through prayer and through simplicity, he came to glimpse the kingdom as near as through a door, right next to him. God's kingdom is right on your doorstep. Here is the poem. Above the voiceful windings of a river, an old green slab of simply graven stone shuns notice, overshadowed by a yew. Here Vaughan lies dead, whose name flows on forever, through pastures of the spirit washed with dew, and starlit with eternities unknown. Here sleeps the Silurist, the loved physician, the face that left no portraiture behind, the skull that housed white angels, and had vision of daybreak through the gateways of the mind. Here faith and mercy, wisdom and humility, whose influence shall prevail for evermore, shine. And this lowly grave tells heaven's tranquillity. And here stand I, suppliant at the door. May we push, may we see beyond.